Celtics forward Gordon Hayward got things going here at TD Garden as the Celtics top the Milwaukee Bucks. And this segment is brought to you by 1in100. Head over to 1in100.co, your online raffle to win future Celtics tickets, other sporting events, and tickets to concerts going on in the city. That's 1in100.co. Sign up today if you haven't already. Gentlemen, 2 days ago we're talking about Gordon Hayward struggling. 2 days later, here he is getting things started offensively. Found the rhythm in the first quarter, got things going in the second half, and it sort of just kept going from there. Easily his best performance of the young season. What did you take away from it? We'll start with you, Chris.
I mean, weirdly enough, the thing I took away most was a goaltend that he had right down on this side.
Right. Yeah, you mentioned that right before we started filming.
Yeah,
you really like that play.
It sounds kind of weird, but obviously the explosion is one of the last things that's going to come for Gordon Hayward as he recovers from this injury. And I thought when he went up for that goaltend, he had a lot of explosion. He came down, he kind of like came back down to earth, realized that he was okay once he was on the ground. It was the highest he's gotten in a while. It was as explosive of a jump that I've seen in a while. So that stuck out to me. But on offense, he found some rhythm that he hasn't seen in a while. And I think it'll slowly start to come. But it's still going to take a while. But tonight was a nice first step.
What I thought was really indicative of where Hayward was tonight was how good of a game Kyrie had.
Yeah.
It was how balanced Kyrie's offensive repertoire was. Kyrie had a lot of stuff off ball, was on ball, wasn't really forcing very often. I mean, a couple plays because it is Kyrie, of course. But, like, I think Kyrie's game looked so effortless and the stats were huge. Mostly, I think, because Hayward was able to really assume that secondary ball handler role. I think he had probably the first complete game in that role that he's had so far this season.
Played above his minute restrction, played above 25 minutes for the first time.
Right.
Yeah, don't say anything.
I mean, it's only by 1 minute, but you know, it still counts.
We'll keep that on the down
Brad
low.
Stevens will be pissed about it.
The last minute doesn't count.
But I agree. Kyrie was able to work off the ball a decent amount tonight, a couple catch and shoot threes, and I think that allowed Hayward to find some rhythm and find a little flow.
Right, Jerry, I'm glad you brought that up because I thought there was a lot of passing that was going on from Gordon Hayward. Maybe not necessarily like the initial assist, or I should say the last person to find someone open, but he got the ball going. It was the hockey assist, those kind of plays that we want to see out of Gordon Hayward. So he's able to do things offensively when he's not necessarily scoring the ball.
Well, what's funny is there was a segment of the game that I thought was probably the most important part of the game for him besides the injury thing, or getting up from the landing on it, was that at the end of the third quarter, he checked into the game with about a minute and a half left. They ran the exact same play 3 times in a row, got buckets every single time. Pick and pop on the top of the key, him and Marcus Morris going at it, doing the same thing that the Celtics usually do with their point guard, which was Kyrie, big man, usually Al Horford. The fact that they're able to now start running this exact same action, very basic but effective action with other guys is huge.
It's dangerous.
And they did that because John Henson was on the floor. When John Henson's on the floor, he's going to kind of sit back and pick and roll coverage. They're not going to switch it. And so the Celtics were able to take advantage of that, getting wide open threes for Marcus Morris, where Hayward had to kind of slip the little pocket pass back to him. He's throwing what is almost a blind pass behind him through double coverage to Marcus Morris, which means that he knows where Morris is going to pop to, he knows the timing of it, and he's comfortable taking those 2 defenders away from it. That's the stuff that a really good point guard is able to run to get quick baskets at the end of quarters, and Hayward was able to do that tonight. So I think that was probably the most important thing that we saw to Hayward for projecting where he's going to go for the rest of the season.
Yeah, I mean, and that just opens up so much flexibility for Brad Stevens, having that other option. Obviously, it hasn't been there to this point in the season. We're less than 10 games in, so we're still kind of, overplaying this a lot. But the fact that option is there and it appeared tonight is phenomenal.
Yeah, absolutely. Something to keep a close eye on, especially because this 5-game road trip is not going to make things any easier for the Boston Celtics. And it starts right away. It starts Saturday night in Indiana. We'll see how Gordon Hayward continues to progress here throughout this 5-game stretch. And, of course, you can count on us for plenty of coverage here at CLNS Media.